Home when you left.
You're right.
Your daddy was home when you left.
You're right.
Your sister was home when you left.
You're right.
Your brother was home when you left.
You're right.
The dog was home when you left.
You're right.
The cat was home when you left.
You're right.
The fish was home when you left.
You're right.
Your mommy, your daddy, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left.
You're right.
And that's the reason you left.
You're right.
I left my home.
I left my home
To join the army.
to join the army.
I left my home.
I left my home
Join the army.
to join the army.
The day I left,
The day I left,
my mama cried.
my mama cried.
She thought that I
She thought that
would surely die.
I would surely die.
I left my way,
I left my wife
hiding at the door.
crying at the door.
She knew that
She knew that
I would die at war.
I would die at war.
I left my son.
This Veterans Day, we honor those who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces. Today we invite two FRBC members who are former military servicemen to sit down for an interview. The purpose of this interview is to highlight individual service and gain a perspective on their military experience. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Charles Nevels. I'm a member of Fellowship Right Baptist Church.
What was your branch of service?
U.S. Army.
What was your rank?
I was a sergeant first class when I retired.
What rank are you most proud to have earned and why?
Sergeant first class because I earned it twice.
Where did you serve?
Mostly here in the States. I did 2 tours in Korea, and I did 1 tour in Germany. No, I did 2 tours in Germany.
Did you serve during wartime?
I was in during the wartime, during the Vietnam War, but I didn't go to war.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted.
Why did you join?
Bored. I was working at General Motors on an assembly line. It just wasn't for me.
Do you recall your first days in service?
Yes.
What did it feel like?
Scared, homesick.
Tell me about your basic training experience.
I took basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. In the wintertime, cold. You know, I mean real cold. That's the coldest place I ever been except Korea.
How did you get through it?
Just thinking about going home during the break.
Did you travel during service? Where exactly did you go?
I enjoyed my time in Germany. You know, in Germany you get to travel all of Europe, and that's pretty much what I did.
Where did you serve the majority of your time in service?
The majority of my time was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I mean Fort Hood, Texas. Fort Hood.
What was your job or assignment?
My first job was optician. I went to school for that in Denver. That was my first job.
Tell me a funny story you experienced that can only happen in the military.
Blanket parties. Blanket parties. What that is, you know, somebody that get you in trouble, you know, if they get the whole platoon in trouble, what they do is tie them down in bed and beat them with wet towels. Yeah.
Have you ever experienced a blanket party?
Not against me, but I saw other people there.
That sounds like trouble.
I always try to stay out of trouble.
Which medals are you most honored to have received and why?
The Army Commendation Medal, that's one of the highest medals that you can receive during peacetime.
How did you stay in touch with your family?
By phone. That's my mother always made sure that we kept in touch. So,
What was the worst military food you were served?
powdered eggs. Powdered eggs.
Did you feel pressure or stress?
Being away from home, that was the most difficult at first.
How did people entertain themselves?
Well, when we was out in the field, doing training, we play cards a lot. Yeah.
What did you do when on leave?
Come home and visit the family.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
Yes. Like the Vietnam War, we didn't go over there to win that war. You couldn't fire on the enemy. You had to call in to get permission most of the time, even though you were getting shot at. So that's a war that I didn't think we should have been in.
How did your service and experiences affect your life?
The military taught me how to manage my life. I really didn't know how to manage money or anything, until I went in the military.
Is there anything that you would like to add that we have not covered in this interview?
I enjoyed it. I did 20 years in the military, and I enjoyed every day of it. Sometimes I miss it.
Part 2 of our interview. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Leon Stapleton. I'm a member of Fellowship Right Baptist Church. I serve as an usher, and I served in the United States Army.
What was your rank?
I was a buck sergeant in E5.
Where did you serve?
I served in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, in Germany.
Did you serve during wartime?
Yes, but I wasn't in a combat area. I'm an only child, so I assume that's why I didn't serve in a combat area.
During which war did you serve?
Vietnam.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was drafted.
Did you travel during service? Where exactly did you go?
When I went to Germany, I didn't go on leave and a lot over there. I stayed mainly around the area that I was assigned, and got to know some of the German people.
What was your job assignment or MOS?
I went in, they made a surveyor artillery surveyor. And when I got to Germany, I became a training clerk and then later a training NCO. And I was assigned as a forward observer.
Tell me about one of your most memorable experiences.
My most memorable experience was being as a Spec 4, being assigned a radio relay position, which I had never operated a military radio before. We were assigned to go out and set up a radio where the battalion commander on their trip back from Grafenwehr back to our base could talk to the base and everybody else. And I was assigned that. We went out the night before. We were supposed to hook up with Division, and Division was set up right next to a radar installation. So we set up overlooking the Autobahn. I keyed the radio at 7 o'clock that morning and proceeded to get chewed out by the battalion commander every time I opened my mouth that entire day. At the end of the day, I was emotionally drained. God had it. Our battalion headquarters was in the bottom of our billets, and I came up the outside stairwell to come into the billets, and there stood the battalion commander in the hallway. And he said, "Come here, specialist." And I thought, oh no. I got over to him and he said, I want to thank you for today. That was the best relay that I've had. It was a little rough at first, but it was the best I've had after that. And I know my jaw has to have hit the floor.
Right.
And from that day on, whenever he went out, I went out. He didn't care where I went, didn't care what I did. As long as he could talk to me and I could talk to whoever he wanted me to, everything was great.
What was the best or worst military food you were served?
The best food I had was as I was permanent party at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. We had a mess sergeant that he started the Monday meal, and everything that was left over he put in a big pot and started soup. And by Saturday and Sunday, that was undoubtedly the best soup that you could ever get a hold of. It was good. It was good.
How did people entertain themselves?
In Germany, they drank a lot.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can imagine that.
Do you recall the day your service ended?
Yes, it was in Fort Dix, New Jersey. We had a week to process out. At that time, I was, like I said, a buck sergeant. Every morning you had a formation and they would find something for you to do. Well, in the military, if you carry a clipboard and you got a little bit of rank, you can probably get by with whatever you want. So I would go up to the sergeant and say, hey, Sergeant, I need 5 guys for a detail. Pick them out. So I'd pick 5 guys out. I'd march them around the corner and I'd say, okay, the coffee shop's over here. I'll meet you back here at a certain time.
Did you join a veterans organization?
I joined the American Legion and the DAV.
How did military service affect your life?
Taught me responsibility.
Is there anything you would like to add that we have not covered in this interview?
I think the worst thing that this country did was do away with the active draft. I think everybody should be subjected to military service. It teaches you so much.